Okay, yeah. Cody, you know all about Jackson Arnold, who we got to see at Oklahoma. I'm not sure we got to properly evaluate him because of the line he was playing behind and the injuries at receiver. But what is Auburn getting in this deal?
Yeah, I think it's funny. We have grown as a football community to essentially decide on what these kids' careers are after taking maybe like 3 or 4 snaps of college ball. We got to remember that Jackson Arnold essentially was starting his first season, right, with Oklahoma. He played a couple games as a freshman, but this was really his first go-round at the position. And I think we need to pump the brakes and relax on our, there's people calling him a bust. There's people saying he's not it. And why would Auburn spend so much money for a guy that clearly struggled last year? Guys, Jackson Arnold had to deal with, 50 different offensive line units up front. He had his top 6 receiver options all hurt at some point in the year. To write the book on Jackson Arnold, I think, is absolute disrespect to the player that he really was, especially coming out of high school. I mean, this was a 5-star prospect coming out of high school. He's an efficient passer. He gets the ball out quick. He's relatively mobile. I think Auburn's getting someone whose ceiling could be something that they haven't seen for a couple years, especially under a guy like Peyton Thorne. No disrespect, but I think it's about being able to move the chains officially and take care of the football. Yes, Jackson Arnold threw a lot of picks last year. There was turnover issues. I don't think that was necessarily a Jackson Arnold issue. I think with bringing in a top transfer tackle that we might talk about later in the show, helps that out. They brought in Eric Singleton as of this morning. The receiver unit at Auburn is a monster. So if you just give this guy time to rock and fire, I think we're going to see a Jackson Arnold that, unfortunately for Oklahoma fans, they never got to see last year.
Andy, start the Auburn train right now for me.
Okay.
If Arnold hits,
chugga.
You have Singleton and Coleman. They're going to run the ball hard. Their offensive line's going to be fine. They're going to drop some ball plays. They're going to be awesome next year. Am I nuts?
We think. We think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that thought process at all. Ari, ultimately, I will say, as much as I say, yeah, the supporting cast helps, and, they got some more people out there to support Jackson Arnold, it is going to be on his shoulders. Don't get me wrong. The quarterback's going to lead the charge there. But Auburn found itself in a lot of games last year. I know they didn't finish with the record that they wanted, but they were in it for a lot of ball games last year. If you don't turn the ball over, you have a chance. That's all this cat has to do. Like you said, get the ball to the playmakers and just let him go to work. I don't hate that thought process at all.
And also, too, like you evaluated Jackson Arnold. I remember the discourse about him when he was in high school. He was supposed to be the best quarterback in his class. And there was a lot of good quarterbacks in his class.
Right.
If he even comes close to even looking at the ceiling.
Exactly. Woo. And I think that's what that place did not have last year. When you can't methodically move the chains, or for instance, even if you do methodically move the chains, you get in the red zone, you throw a pick, you can't win. The turnover margin decides so many football games. And if you can even slightly improve that, if you're that Auburn team last year, you're a completely different team at the end of the season.
But first, let me talk about Masterclass. You can learn from the best to become your best. A little preview of one of the newest classes available at Masterclass.
You don't need to know everything there is to know about sports in order to win at sports betting.
Stop betting blind. Learn how to beat the odds from our team of sharps.
As long as there have been sports, there have been people betting on them.
This is not luck. It's good strategy, and we're going to show you how.
If you're going to get emotional, don't bet against your home team.
Never overbet your bankroll. You need to be comfortable with the amount that you bet.
An edge is simply having an advantage over the sportsbook.
You might find 16 sports books that have the Boston Celtics at 12-1 to win the championship. And then there might be one that's offering 16-1. They may have just made a mistake.
Find the best price. It can't be simpler.
Find those easy edges and then turn them into profits. The average bettor likes to bet on the favorites and the overs because they like to see things happen.
Betting against things happening is where there's historically been a lot more value.
Learn about
bankroll management, prop bets,
The difference between the point spread and the money line.
Top-down betting.
handicapping.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
I'm Rob Pizzola.
Nick Costos.
Captain Jack Andrews.
Gina Fiore.
Rufus Peabody.
I'm Joe Fortenbaugh, and this is Masterclass.
That's a sports betting class at Masterclass. They've also got other classes across the board that can help you be your best. You can learn from the best. For just $10 a month, an annual membership with Masterclass gets you unlimited access to every instructor. They have deals around the holidays. So visit masterclass.com/on3. That's masterclass.com/on3 for up to 50% off. So staying in the SEC, we did mention Jackson Arnold going to Auburn, but another guy that you like going to Auburn is Xavier Chaplin, offensive tackle coming from Virginia Tech, going to Auburn. And I thought Auburn's offensive line was not bad this year. It's interesting because that's been the unit, throughout the Gus years, the Brian Harsin years. Like they could never seem to get that one where they wanted it. But it feels like there's close to as close as they've been in a long time to getting it where they want it. How much does this guy help?
Yeah, I think this is a big pickup in two big ways for Auburn. I think the impact not only comes from being the top ranked tackle out of the portal, right? Because according to On3's transfer rankings, that's where he sits right now. But you also give your new starting quarterback some peace of mind when he drops back. And I think that's where the value really comes because, as we mentioned, Jackson Arnold was seeing ghosts last year. And there's a sense of security that a guy like Xavier Chaplin brings to the roster in order for Jackson Arnold to feel a lot more comfortable in the pocket than he did this past season. And it allows for this Auburn offense to open up the passing game a bit more in order for what Ari mentioned earlier, those receivers, man, get those guys the football. Let them do what they do best. Let them get vertical. Let them have the ball in their hands. They just landed one of the top wideouts in the portal this morning in Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech. So they want to get wide receivers the football. And Chaplin is a terrific pass protector. He's so technically sound. I think, guys, to be honest, this might be arguably the most impactful transfer in the entire cycle on the offensive side of the ball outside of the quarterback position.
I was going to say, with John Mateer, are we sure about that?
Outside of the QB position, this guy could single-handedly determine what Auburn's success is as an offense. Because if Jackson Arnold gets hit in the back first game twice, you have no clue where you're going to get for the rest of the year. So if you can keep Jackson Arnold protected and this guy is the pillar for his blind side, it could change the entire scope of your offense.
I'm buying Auburn stock.
Ari was already in on Auburn before you said all that.
Sorry,
so
yeah.
Well, this was part of the equation. Yeah.
Did you take notes from the Masterclass ad that we had earlier? Ari, you just got to take notes. That's
everything they said in the Masterclass ad are things that I've struggled with. So I need to get the class. Number one, bet within your means.
Right.
Okay.